On our wedding night, my wife Victoria led my younger brother-in-law Lucas, who was only wearing his underwear, onto our marital bed and told him to consummate the marriage for me. "Honey," she said, "I feel so bad for you. Your legs are crippled and your sperm quality is poor." I had to trouble Lucas to do the hard work for one night. I immediately turned cold and wanted to kick Lucas out of the bridal chamber. But my parents hit me together. "What's wrong with it? The lower half of your body is useless. Lucas is humiliating himself to donate sperm so you can have a child. What's so wrong about that?" Even my buddies laughed at me for not being a real man, advising me to quit while I was ahead and accept a free son. They even suggested I watch their live show to prove that besides completing the task of making a baby, they had no other improper intentions. I gritted my teeth, turned around, and called my wife's archenemy, Eleanor Blackburn. "You win. The investment for the Sterling family will be fully transferred to your account tomorrow." After hanging up, I looked up at Victoria and said, "If you two share a room today, we'll get divorced tomorrow, just because I let Lucas substitute for you in the bridal chamber." She retorted. Victoria's mouth instantly turned downward. "I just want to give you an heir as soon as possible to help you secure the marriage alliance between the Sterling and Croft families. And I even allowed you to listen in on me and Lucas consummating the marriage. What are you so worried about? On our wedding day, must you really make a fuss over your own pettiness?" "Pettiness? Victoria," I said, my voice icy cold as I gripped the wheelchair arms. "There isn't a man in this world who can watch his own wife go to bed with another man. Moreover, I don't need a child to secure a business alliance for me. If you wanted one, we could have waited slowly, not gotten together with Lucas." Lucas, wearing only his underwear, walked up to me, provocatively showing off his assets, and sneered, "Brother, you're paralyzed from the waist down. Even the doctors said your reproductive function has degenerated. To put it bluntly, you're no different from a eunuch in ancient times. How could you possibly still have a child? Aren't you just deceiving yourself?" His naked gaze fell on my lower body. A fire surged within me. "How is it that my personal doctor tells you everything?" Lucas suddenly tensed up, straightening his body. I snorted disdainfully. Seeing this, my parents kicked my wheelchair away and protectively pulled him behind them. They were furious with me. "Your brother is concerned about your health, and you actually suspect he has ill intentions. How did I give birth to such an ungrateful wretch like you? If you can't produce a child, you'll not only delay Victoria's life, but also anger the Sterling family. Do you think the alliance between our two families is a child's play? Today, I'll make the decision for you. Let Victoria and Lucas consummate the marriage. You don't get to make that decision." I brushed the footprint off my knees and looked at Victoria. "Choose. Either kick Lucas out, or we get divorced." Hearing my finality, Victoria bit her lip, her gaze darting between me and Lucas. Lucas's face turned pale. He threw himself forward and grabbed my feet, putting on an act. "Brother, don't be like this. If you get divorced, won't I become the sinner who ruined the Sterling-Croft alliance? Don't drag me down with you. If you're still worried, after tonight, I'll hurt myself. As long as sister-in-law Victoria isn't doomed to a lonely old life because of you, I'll do anything." After saying this, as if in extreme agony, he hammered my legs twice. With reddened eyes, he picked up the fruit knife from the table. Victoria's pupils constricted. The next second, the knife was snatched from Lucas's hand and slammed into the wall behind me. Victoria's gaze was as cold as ice. Her thin lips parted slightly. "Tonight, no one will make Lucas get off my bed. From now on, by day, he is your good brother. By night, he is my lover." Witnessing Victoria's uncompromising attitude in defending Lucas, a trace of bitterness flashed in my eyes. "Fine," I agreed. Who knew my buddies would immediately explode into an uproar? They dragged out their words, chuckling under their breaths. "Honestly, if it weren't for your brother and your wife's sake, we brothers really wouldn't think much of a cripple like you getting married. Hurry up and apologize to them. Back then, everyone knew how you acted submissive and humble to marry Victoria Sterling. If you can't produce a child, you can't withstand the Sterling family's wrath. Everyone thought that by marrying Victoria Sterling, I had climbed up the social ladder. But in reality, the Sterling family's fortunes were already failing. It was Victoria who acted submissive and humble in proposing the marriage. At that time, I cherished her deeply. The moment she knelt, I mobilized all my liquid assets to fund the Sterling family. Her one smile, and I could bid without blinking for the exorbitantly priced watch she fancied. Her one show of grievance, and I would unhesitatingly arrange for top-tier bodyguards to protect her. But ever since she came home with me and met Lucas, everything changed. She could divert my financial support to buy a luxury villa for Lucas. She gave that expensive watch to him to help Lucas show off. Even the team of bodyguards was sent by her to protect Lucas. The more I thought about it, the colder and harder my heart became. I smiled faintly and looked at the buddies who were mocking me. What a coincidence. I also can't stand the lot of you. Today, I will cut ties with everyone present here, including you. After saying this, I maneuvered my wheelchair to turn and leave. But Victoria grabbed me. She looked down at me coldly and snapped, "You are not allowed to leave. You must stay here and watch me and Lucas consummate the marriage. Otherwise, who knows what nonsense you'll spout outside, slandering our innocence." I looked at her, furious and yet finding it absurdly funny. She and Lucas were about to go to bed together, yet she still had the nerve to talk about innocence. I refused outright, but she called my parents and buddies. They lifted my wheelchair and threw me into the bathroom. The moment my wheelchair was taken away, I fell hard onto the floor. My crippled legs were even stepped on a few times. I lay there on the ground, struggling in a wretched state. Mocking glances fell on my legs, shattering the dignity I had struggled to maintain. But my mother still felt it wasn't enough. "You're a half-dead cripple already. Why are you trying so hard to be strong? Won't you still have to rely on Lucas and Victoria to support you in the future, to uphold the family and company's reputation for you? Just listen to Victoria and reflect on your behavior here properly." As soon as she finished speaking, the bathroom door was slammed shut. I was forced to listen to the amorous moans and low groans outside the door. The sight of their two pale bodies entangled together, visible through the glass door, stabbed painfully into my eyes. Enraged, I punched the floor and let out a low roar. But Lucas only grew more excited. "Sister Vicky," he said, "tell me, who's better, me or your husband?" Victoria let out a charming gasp, her eyes seductive like silk as she melted into his arms and cooed playfully, "You're awful. I've only ever had you as a man. How would I know how good he is?" A sharp pain suddenly shot through my palm. Looking down, I saw that I had long since clawed my hand until it was mangled and bloody. I shut my eyes tightly, then opened my phone and found Eleanor Blackburn's contact information. "Help me contact a top-tier divorce lawyer. I want to make a clean break with Victoria Sterling. Quietly record audio evidence of Victoria's affair." I took a deep breath, pushed hard against the ground, and turned myself around. But my face turned deathly pale when I saw the trash can behind me. Inside the trash can, there was actually a positive pregnancy test. The next day, when I was finally let out, only the torn wedding dress remained on the marital bed. I turned away in disgust and left. On the dining table in the living room sat a bowl of fragrant, rich soup. After a night of psychological torment, I was utterly exhausted. Without hesitation, I reached for the soup bowl, but the next second, my mother harshly slapped my hand away. She looked displeased. "This is deer antler I bought at a high price to make a tonic soup for Lucas. What will he drink if you drink it? Besides, giving this good stuff to you would be a waste. Without me, where would you get the money to buy his deer antler soup?" My mother was left speechless by my retort and washed with a sour expression as I drank the entire bowl of soup. At that moment, Victoria came downstairs slowly and complained to me in a soft voice. "Honey, how did you get down by yourself? I was looking for you in the bathroom earlier and was almost scared to death when I couldn't find you. How difficult it must have been for you to finally remember me." Victoria pouted reproachfully and reached out her fingertip, tracing circles on my chest. "You're awful. Are you still holding a grudge against me for sharing a room with Lucas? I did it all for your own good." After saying this, her face flushed, and she exchanged amorous glances with Lucas, full of shyness and timid affection. Moreover, Lucas is exceptionally gifted. The doctor said I conceived last night. Now you finally understand my good intentions, right? I suddenly remembered the pregnancy test from last night, and nausea welled up in my heart. I pushed her away abruptly, my eyes red and wretched. "Honey, what's wrong with you?" Victoria rushed forward nervously and, without hesitation, reached out to wipe the filth from the corner of my mouth. My heart trembled for a moment, but then I heard her continue. "Is work too stressful lately? Why don't you focus on recovering properly? Don't make me worry. As for company matters, just hold a press conference to announce that I'm pregnant with the heir. Also, let Lucas temporarily take over your position as chairman to manage the company for you." It seemed as if she had long prepared this speech, becoming more and more fluent as she spoke. I lifted my eyelids and suddenly realized how strange she seemed to me now. Since childhood, compared to Lucas, I was always the one who was disliked. My parents favored him, my buddies admired him. I was even forced to drop out of school and work to support his education. Looked down upon for half my life, I relied entirely on my own struggles to build my business empire. And now, I was being forced to relinquish my position by the woman I once loved most. Victoria, seeing my prolonged silence, looked down in confusion but suddenly noticed my new doctor standing nearby. She pushed him away in a panic. "Honey, why did you hire a new doctor? Didn't we agree that Mom and I would take care of your legs together?" But the looks they gave my legs were clearly full of disdain and disgust. "Who is your honey?" I pointed at Lucas. "My sister-in-law just slept with my brother last night. Watch your words and show some restraint." Victoria completely dropped her act, her face turning cold as she asked me, "What do you mean by that?" I took out the divorce agreement and threw it on the table. "Sign it. We're getting divorced." She looked at me in shock. "You're crazy. I'm not signing it. Just because of what happened last night. I've already explained myself. Can you please stop making a mountain out of a molehill?" Lucas grabbed her hand with a guilty expression. "Sister Vicky, it's all my fault. Brother must be angry with me. But don't be angry. He's always been like this since we were kids. I'll talk to him properly, and he'll be fine." Ignoring my refusal, Lucas pushed me into the bedroom. "Brother, why do you insist on arguing with sister-in-law? I know you're having a hard time too." He hypocritically knelt on one knee and advised me earnestly. "Stop pretending. Say what you mean directly." Lucas gave me a sharp, hateful glance, his voice filled with jealousy. "Brother, you've been like this since childhood. Your know-it-all attitude disgusts me." A document was thrown into my lap. "Sign it. Give me the position of chairman of the company." I chuckled dismissively. "With your pig brain, you're not qualified to force me to step down." Lucas was completely provoked. His face red. He cursed, "You damned cripple. Where do you get the nerve to be so arrogant? Even if I'm a cripple, I can still destroy you." Hearing this, Lucas paused, then burst into laughter as if he had suddenly realized something. He laughed so hard, he kept slapping my legs. "Oh, so you still don't know. How do you think your legs became crippled?" I suddenly tightened my arms, gripping the wheelchair arms deathly tight. Lucas looked at my gradually paling face with triumph and said, word by word, "Your legs were crippled by Victoria herself." I was sitting in the passenger seat at the time. "What are you so high and mighty about? You were born inferior to me. Our parents don't love you. Our buddies don't love you. Even your girlfriend. I just had to crook my finger, and she became a tool to destroy you. You'll have to live in my shadow for the rest of your life. Want love? Are you even worthy of it?" I was utterly enraged. I actually pushed myself up from the wheelchair, lunged at Lucas with force, knocking him down, and punched him hard in the face. After that punch, my eyes turned red, and I didn't stop. Lucas was a bully who only picked on the weak. He was too scared to fight back, howling in pain, which quickly attracted others. Alexander Croft, you're insane. Victoria rushed forward and shoved me away. My parents scrambled to protect Lucas in their arms. Seeing he was beaten black and blue, their faces filled with heartache as they cried and cursed, "You beast. You even hit your own brother. I never should have given birth to you. Heartless wretch. Your brother has been so good to you. You just need to be taught a lesson." Lucas acted as if he had suffered a grave injustice. With reddened eyes, he looked at me fearfully. "Brother, I just felt bad that you were tired from work. That's why I advised you to sign the abdication agreement. If you won't appreciate the gesture, fine, but you actually said you would kill me." As soon as he finished speaking, Victoria immediately rushed forward and slapped my face so hard it swelled. The corner of my mouth even split and bled. Victoria's eyes held bone-chilling indifference and murderous intent. Her voice was merciless. "The press conference will be held as scheduled. Whether you agree or not, Lucas will be the chairman. He is better than you in every way. He is the rightful chairman. If you dare make trouble out of jealousy again, don't blame me for showing no mercy." After saying this, she called the bodyguards and forced me to press my thumbprint onto the chairman transfer agreement. Then they left me in the villa to reflect on my behavior. The whole family rushed Lucas to the hospital. Victoria even used my privileges at the hospital to arrange a green channel for him. I lay in a wretched state on the ground. Even breathing in was painful. The slap on my face completely shattered any last trace of attachment I had for her. Gritting my teeth against the pain, I took out my phone and called Eleanor Blackburn. That evening, Victoria couldn't wait to hold a press conference to clear Lucas's name and establish his authority. By the time I arrived, she had already finished announcing the news about the change in chairman of Croft Holdings. The reporters on site immediately surrounded me, constantly sneering, "Mr. Croft. Oh no, Alexander Croft. Did you ever think, when you were turning on your own brother, that it would come to this? If it weren't for the real Mr. Croft, Lucas, we wouldn't have known that your business empire was entirely built by your brother's efforts. You repaid his kindness with betrayal, stealing the company. Thankfully, justice prevailed, and even your wife couldn't stand by and watch your evil deeds. How do you still have the face to show up here? Croft Holdings has already changed hands, you damned cripple. Serves you right for that car accident." Lucas, with his arm around Victoria's slender waist, arrogantly walked up to me. "Brother, Croft Holdings is mine now. Isn't it inappropriate for you to be here?" Victoria gave me a dismissive glance and said coldly, "Stop your wishful thinking about snatching the company back from Lucas. You're just a cripple now, unfit for any important role. If you suck up to him properly from now on, your life might be slightly more bearable." Noticing the coldness in my eyes, she paused for a moment, but ultimately softened her tone. "Honey, just be good. Anyway, I'm pregnant now. As long as you behave, I won't abandon you." Hearing this, a flash of contempt crossed my eyes. I turned my wheelchair around and reached behind me, taking a delicate, jade-like hand in mine. "You're mistaken. This lady here is the new chairman of Croft Holdings." When Victoria clearly saw Eleanor Blackburn standing behind me, she looked like she could grind her teeth to dust. "Have you lost your mind from anger? She is our family's archenemy. How could she possibly become the new chairman of Croft Holdings? If I am willing, she is the new chairman." I looked up, my gaze towards her no longer holding any trace of infatuation. Victoria, furious beyond measure, laughed in anger. "Alexander Croft, you're putting on this show just to make me jealous and regret sleeping with Lucas, aren't you? I admit it, you win. I am indeed very angry. Stop making trouble now. Let's end this matter here. You think too highly of yourself. Even if you slept with Lucas 100 times, I wouldn't care." I raised an eyebrow, took the chairman's gold pin from her hand, and personally pinned it to Eleanor Blackburn's cuff. Lucas panicked, looking at Victoria with a wronged expression. "Sister-in-law, I knew brother wouldn't let me off easily. I just held the press conference. Now that the chairman position is snatched away, I'll become a complete laughingstock in the business world. I might as well die. His suicidal dramatics quickly made Victoria's heart ache for him. She took the document I was forced to sign earlier and slammed it against my face. Lucas is the rightful chairman of the group. I know you are proud, but for my sake, for the sake of our child, can't you just endure it? Your body is no longer suitable for work. What's the harm in letting Lucas have it? I chuckled softly and also took out a document. Sorry, but Eleanor Blackburn has a more legitimate claim than you. Her status has been notarized by the relevant authorities. The document she holds carries more legal weight than the one you produced. Victoria's face completely darkened. Her voice was icy. Alexander Croft, are you breaching the contract? She curled her lips into a cold smile and showed me the penalty clause amount in the document. It actually amounts to hundreds of billions. Can you afford to pay the penalty fee? Meeting her extremely sinister gaze, I understood. So from the very beginning, she had already planned a secure fallback for Lucas. You remind me, does a contract signed under duress still hold validity? Wait for my court summons. My patience exhausted, I signaled for Eleanor to push my wheelchair away. Victoria rushed forward abruptly, her face shocked. You're serious? Alexander Croft, if you kneel and kowtow to apologize to me and Lucas right now, I might still forgive you. She chased after us a few shallow steps, but was pulled back by my parents. Vicky, are you really afraid a cripple like him can make a comeback? What's there to fear? If he dares to sue, I'll disown him and kick him out of the family. That's right. Lucas is so heartbroken now. You should stay and comfort him properly. Victoria stared at my retreating back, stamped her foot fiercely, then turned and rushed towards Lucas. Eleanor Blackburn took me back to the villa. I returned, packed up all my belongings, and moved out. The bridal suite I had personally decorated and filled with eager anticipation now reeked of a nauseating stench. Frowning, my hand holding the clothes paused. I only took out my important documents, then turned around and listed the house for sale on a second-hand property platform. I temporarily moved into Eleanor Blackburn's home. She helped me find a specialist doctor to examine my leg disability. As the trouser leg was pulled up, it revealed my long atrophied, pale legs, marred by ugly, winding scars. I thought Eleanor would be like Victoria Sterling, screaming in fright and disgust. But she remained expressionless, massaging my legs and assisting the doctor with the examination. A flicker of what seemed like heartache passed through her eyes. Stop the examination. It's useless. My legs are already finished. I wanted to reach out and stop her action, but the doctor cut me off. Mr. Croft, how has your leg disability been delayed until now? If rehabilitation had started earlier, you could have stood up long ago. Even now, you have a chance to stand up again, although the process will be quite difficult. I was stunned. Wild joy flooded me, followed immediately by a chilling realization. Previously, all my doctors had been arranged by Victoria Sterling. Eleanor placed her hand on my shoulder. Her calm, deep eyes instantly soothed my turmoil. Don't worry. I'll accompany you through the treatment. You will stand up again. I nodded, my voice hoarse. Okay. I had thought she was just a business partner, merely saying polite words for the occasion. But to my surprise, she truly pushed aside all her work and dedicated herself wholeheartedly to accompanying me through rehabilitation. Finally managing to stand up from the wheelchair, I took a few trembling steps. Suddenly, my leg flared with pain. Drenched in cold sweat, I stumbled and fell into Eleanor's arms. Yet, both of our faces were lit up with ecstatic smiles. She used the back of her hand to wipe the sweat from my face. Just as she was about to speak, the door to the villa was kicked open. Victoria Sterling narrowed her eyes, strode forward in a few steps, and yanked me out of Eleanor's embrace. Alexander Croft, I knew you were hiding here. Why did you divert the investment to the Blackburns? Now our Sterling family is on the verge of bankruptcy. Not to mention you sold the villa. Now uncle, auntie, and Lucas are homeless, and you hide here enjoying yourself. How can you face them? I know you have a temper. Fine, I apologize. Just get the Sterling family investment back, and I'll keep my distance from Lucas. I tilted my head, surveying her noticeably haggard face, and smiled. So the Lucas in your heart, whom you thought was far stronger than me. He wasn't able to bring your Sterling family back from the dead. Victoria frowned. Stop messing around, Alexander. I'm pregnant. How could you make me run around like this? What if I lose the baby? Go find the father of that child to be responsible. I'm not a fool. I rolled my eyes, making Victoria's face turn livid. She pointed a trembling finger at me and snapped. I told you. Lucas and I are only in a sperm donor relationship. This child is your heir. How can you shirk responsibility? If you weren't infertile, I wouldn't have had to seek him out. I've sacrificed so much for you. Are you really this cruel to me? As she spoke, her eyes reddened, tears almost falling. I raised my hand. Stop. You really do take me for a fool. I got checked a long time ago. My leg disability didn't affect my reproductive function. It's not that I can have a child. It's that you didn't want to have one with me. In the bridal suite that night, you were certainly enjoying yourself. That was me being unable to resist. Lucas's technique was too good. I was inexperienced, so of course I succumbed. Inexperienced. But I remember seeing a pregnancy test in the bathroom that day, staring fixedly at Victoria's deathly pale face. I scoffed. You were already pregnant with his child then, and you still have the nerve to call Meckrel. Enraged and humiliated, Victoria drove her long, sharp nails deep into my leg. The pain forced a muffled groan from me. Get out. Eleanor immediately pushed her away, then knelt on one knee before me. Heartache filled her eyes as she gently blew cool air on the bleeding scratches on my leg. Does it still hurt? She turned, her gaze sharp as knives as it swept over Victoria. You're not welcome here. Will you leave on your own, or shall I call the bodyguards to drag you out? Hearing that the situation was turning sour, Lucas, who had been hiding outside the villa, immediately barged in with my parents. Righteously, he yelled at me, Brother, you abandoned sister-in-law and came here just to have an affair with Eleanor Blackburn. Is that it? I've long collected evidence of your carrying on. I originally wanted to keep this secret, but if you're going to hurt sister-in-law, I will be the first to object. Hearing this, Victoria, furious, pulled apart Eleanor's protective hands from me. She looked at me with disappointment. So that's why you funded the Blackburns. You had already changed your heart. How ridiculous that I even accepted another man for your sake. No wonder you were making a fuss about divorce. You wanted to abandon me and be with her. Impossible. While I'm still soft-hearted, break it off with her and I can still forgive you. From now on, stop making trouble. Obediently stay home and serve me during my postpartum confinement, and we can start over. Anger tinged Eleanor's exquisite features. She shook off Victoria's hand. So eager to slander us. Does your own heart harbor guilt? A dirty heart sees dirt everywhere. Even if Alexander and I are together, so what? He's a good man. You didn't know how to cherish him. I'm different. Victoria's face turned the color of liver purple with rage. Gnashing her teeth, she raised her hand fiercely to strike. Before her slap could land, I moved in front of Eleanor and caught Victoria's wrist firmly. Victoria's eyes instantly reddened. You're actually protecting her. Alexander Croft, wake up. You're a cripple, a useless invalid. Eleanor Blackburn is definitely only after your money. Who knows how much she secretly despises you? Besides me, who else would love you without reservation? Are you telling me you're not here today for the money? My voice was mocking. Instead of making a scene, you'd better spend your time signing the divorce papers. Seeing the situation, Lucas immediately started jumping with anger. Sign then. Do you really think sister-in-law can't manage without you? Besides, you cheated. Even if you divorce, you should leave with nothing. All your assets, the villa, including the money you gave to the Blackburns, should all belong to sister-in-law. Seeing the greed glittering in his eyes, I smiled faintly and glanced at Victoria's frozen face. Sure, if you have what it takes to make me leave penniless. I wonder if you've remembered. This afternoon is the day of our court hearing. Panic flashed in Victoria's eyes. Lately, she had been overwhelmed by the Sterling family's troubles and suffering from morning sickness. How could she have remembered receiving the court summons? As for Lucas, don't even mention him. He only cared about spending money and having fun, incapable of sharing any of her workload. Moreover, didn't you say you had evidence of my affair? I laughed, watching Lucas's face darken. My parents, failing to notice their altered expressions, stood before me furiously. Let's go then. You scum. Don't ever call yourself my son again. To actually cheat, you bring shame to the Croft family. Our Lucas is still honest and good. Let's go, let's go. Lucas, Vicky, don't be afraid. Mom and Dad have your backs. Today, we announce we are severing the father-son relationship with you. From now on, we only have Lucas as our son. Don't you dare bully him. I ignored them and got into the car to the courthouse with Eleanor. On the way to the court, Eleanor looked at me cautiously. I'm sorry. It's all my fault for losing my temper for a moment and making them suspect you of having an affair. It's fine. We were bound to end up in court sooner or later anyway. Besides, you've always been so gentle taking care of me, like a rabbit with no temper. It was kind of interesting to see you get angry suddenly. A smile spread across my face, causing Eleanor to cough lightly, her cheeks flushing. After getting out of the car, Lucas clearly seemed much more confident than before. Alexander Croft, Sister Vicky, hired a top-tier lawyer. You're bound to lose this case. After saying this, he couldn't wait to rush into the courtroom. Upon seeing the judge, he pulled out a stack of nude photos. The people entangled in the photos not only had mine and Eleanor's faces photoshopped onto them, but also featured many unfamiliar women. Your Honor, this is the evidence of my brother's affair. He not only had an affair, but also engaged in group orgies. Quickly rule for him to be dispossessed. Better yet, arrest him and throw him in jail for life. But in the next second, his triumphant expression instantly crumbled. Who said this was a divorce hearing? This is a criminal court. The plaintiff, Alexander Croft, is suing you for intentional assault resulting in disability. Didn't you read the summons? The judge's voice was authoritative, laden with strong displeasure. He instructed the bailiffs to seize Lucas, who was disrupting court order, and force him back into his seat. Intentional assault. Alexander Croft, you. Victoria shot to her feet, her hands shaking violently, a visible cold sweat breaking out on her forehead. I nodded, a sneer on my face. You should thank your lover boy. If he hadn't told me, I'd still be in the dark, you murderer. Victoria immediately turned her head, glaring at Lucas with eyes wide with fury. As the gavel fell, Lucas jumped up, trying to flee. This has nothing to do with me. It was Victoria Sterling's own idea to cripple my brother. Victoria Sterling, you are truly heartless. He was scared out of his wits and didn't hesitate to abandon his former lover. The bailiff forcefully pressed him back into the defendant's dock. You are implicated in the intentional assault case and are a co-defendant. If you disrupt court order again, the charges will be aggravated. The judge said sternly. My parents, sitting in the public gallery, instantly exploded. My mother rushed forward to protect Lucas. My father charged at me, raising his fist and punching me hard in the face. You beast. You even sued your own brother. Why don't you just die? Drop the lawsuit now. Otherwise, your mother and I will never forgive you, you unfilial son, for the rest of our lives. I wiped the blood from the corner of my mouth, watching coldly as both of them were restrained by bailiffs. Mom, Dad, I believe you already severed family ties with me at the Blackburn residence. Stop trying to claim relation. The courtroom descended into chaos. Even the defendants on the other side started fighting amongst themselves. Victoria questioned Lucas, demanding why he was trying to absolve himself, only to be met with 2 slaps from him. If it weren't for you dragging me down, how would I be facing criminal charges? How dare you hit me? I'm pregnant. It was you who egged me on to cripple Alexander in the first place, to help you steal his company. Do you have any heart at all? Lucas's young master syndrome instantly flared up. He hurled insults at her indiscriminately. Who knows whose child you're carrying? You never refused anyone in bed, and now you try to pin it on me. Huh. From now on, I am my brother's good little brother. A sister-in-law like you, my brother should have dumped long ago. He then looked at me pleadingly. Brotherly love runs deep. It was a momentary lapse in judgment. You can't abandon me. The farce before my eyes grew increasingly absurd. The judge was so angry he could barely hold his gavel steady. He simply had them all arrested, announced a recess, and scheduled a new court date. Leaving the courthouse, I took Eleanor back to the company. She was now the acting chairman of Croft Holdings. For the remaining time, I wanted to focus on recovering properly, so I wanted to quickly familiarize her with the company's relevant affairs. But unexpectedly, at the company entrance, I was blocked by my former buddies. Somehow they had gotten the news. Their faces, once haughty, were now filled only with fawning flattery. Alexander, we heard your leg injury was caused by Victoria and your brother. We knew those two were up to no good, making our buddy suffer so much. Don't worry, when we run into them, we brothers will definitely get revenge for you. No one messes with our brother. Yeah, we guys really admire you. You had the guts to persevere until you sent them to prison. Tonight, we'll set up a party to properly celebrate your return. I lifted my eyelids faintly, only then remembering they all held significant positions in the company thanks to my connections. In the past, the love-starved me might have cherished this so-called brotherhood. But now, I felt nothing but disgust for their sweet talk. Dinner is unnecessary. Go to HR to collect your severance pay. Their faces instantly turned ugly. They surrounded me and asked what I meant. I pointed to the surveillance camera above and said coldly, or perhaps you'd like to experience the prowess of the top-tier lawyer I've hired. I just wonder if your account books can withstand an audit. After saying this, I pushed through their encircling bodies. I walked into the company without looking back. I let them beg and plead incessantly behind me. After finishing the official business with Eleanor, it was already evening. I suddenly received a call from the hospital, which once again renewed my understanding of Lucas Croft's shamelessness. He and my parents had been detained for causing a major disturbance in court. Unable to endure the hardship, he cursed our parents for being useless and ruining him. This directly caused our father's heart disease to relapse, and he was sent to the hospital emergency room. When I rushed to the hospital, my mother threw herself at my feet, wailing, "My son, you must save your father. That bastard brother of yours is hopeless. We can only rely on you now." Seeing the blue and purple bruises on her body, I gasped. "Lucas actually hit you too. The hospital says he needs a heart transplant. It'll cost over $1 million. You have to pay for it. Your parents didn't raise you for nothing." At the mention of money, I clenched my fist tightly and pushed her away expressionlessly. "You really take me for an ATM. Over these years, you've taken at least $10 million from me. Where's the money?" Her face turned pale. She hemmed and hawed, unable to speak. But I knew that money had all been spent on Lucas. I laughed. Whoever caused this should pay for it. Doesn't Lucas have a card that wasn't frozen? If I remember correctly, it should be enough for your treatment. Lucas, who was squatting to the side, immediately protected his wallet. With red eyes, he shoved away my mother's reaching hand. "Get lost. This is my money. You old fools can't earn any money yourselves, and now you try to extort me. Anyway, he's halfway into the grave already. Why put him through the misery of a transplant? Better to die early and be reborn sooner." My mother could no longer hold back. She took 2 steps back as if seeing the truth and roared, "That's your father. You black-hearted wretch. Your father and I have doted on you since childhood. You had everything your brother lacked." Her voice suddenly weakened. She looked at me guiltily. I curled my lips in a self-mocking smile and took out a card. "I can give you money for the treatment. This card has $2 million in it. But you have to sign an agreement with me to sever the mother-son and father-son relationship. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other." My mother shuddered instinctively. She was about to refute, but meeting my cold gaze, a flash of guilt and shame crossed her face. The spine that had been straight before me for a lifetime finally bent. She took the card and immediately signed the agreement. "Your father and I failed you. From now on, we owe each other nothing." She turned away in tears, seeming to have aged over a decade in an instant, and hobbled towards the payment station. I didn't want to stay. After giving her the card, I left immediately. The court quickly reconvened. Outside the courthouse, I saw Victoria Sterling. She was a completely different person from before the detention, so emaciated she seemed a gust of wind could blow her away. Her belly, which should have been protruding, was now unnaturally flat. Seeing me, her red, swollen, dry eyes immediately welled up with tears. Overcome with regret, she rushed forward and knelt at my feet. "Alexander, take me away with you. I know I was wrong. It was all Lucas who seduced me back then. I just made a mistake any woman could make. I've already reformed. I've even aborted his child. From now on, I'll only have your babies. However many you want, I'll have them." "Okay." A wave of disgust washed over me. I shuddered. "You really think I'm stupid? Stop slandering women. You drove a car and crippled me. And now you think a simple, 'I made a mistake,' will lightly brush it all aside. Wishful thinking." Unwilling to give up, Victoria grabbed my trousers. "We had such a long history together. You can't just forget it all. If you weren't obsessed with work all day, how would I have felt so lonely and been deceived by Lucas? If you want to blame anyone, blame yourself for not loving me enough." I laughed, asking her word by word. "I didn't love you enough. I worked day and night. The money all went to investing in your Sterling family's projects. Whenever I had a moment of free time, I would accompany you to movies and shopping, even if I only slept 3 hours a day. Why don't you say it was your own insatiability?" Victoria's lips trembled. "No," she murmured. In agony, she curled up her body, clinging wretchedly to my leg. She cried until she was gasping for breath. "But I really did love you. I'd rather cripple you than leave you. What is that if not love? Without me, no one will ever love you like that again. What girl would be willing to marry a cripple and have his children? I can't. Just get me out of this, and we can consummate the marriage tomorrow." But the next second, her voice cut off abruptly, because I stood up from the wheelchair. I took a diamond ring out of my pocket. "Stop pretending. I find you quite nauseating. You'd better hurry into the courtroom. The sooner we finalize the divorce, the sooner I can propose to Eleanor." Victoria's body collapsed suddenly. Despair flashed in her eyes. It was as if her mouth was blocked. Even when open, no words came out. In the courtroom, I submitted all the collected evidence to the judge. The evidence was conclusive. Victoria Sterling and Lucas Croft were quickly convicted and sentenced to over a decade in prison each. Even if they were eventually released, they would already be completely out of touch with society. Simultaneously, the Sterling family declared bankruptcy. The Sterlings even stated outright they would not provide any support to Victoria after her release from prison. Walking out of the courtroom on my feet, I saw Eleanor Blackburn leaning against the car. She wore a pristine white dress, a gorgeous white veil on her head, holding a bouquet of flowers high. "Shall we go?" "To get our marriage license." I quickly walked forward and slipped the ring onto her ring finger. I placed a devout kiss on it, smiling radiantly. "Let's go."